Hello and welcome to Long Beach Lens. I am your host, Derek J. Simpson, Executive Director of the Long Beach Community Action Partnership. We have two amazing guests from the International City Theater joining us in the studio today. Please welcome Karen Desai and Stevie Meredith. Welcome, ladies.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Derek. Thanks for having us.
Yes, it's exciting to have you here. I know you've been in the studio before
Yes.
in a different way, but today we're going to talk about International City Theater and some special things that you have going on. So Karen, let's start with you. And for those who don't know much about it, what is the mission of the theater and how you go about that?
The mission of International City Theater is to entertain, to educate, to inspire, and to provoke thoughtful dialogue in the theater, live professional theater. This is our 32nd year. We have more than 350 professional awards, and we're a regional professional theater, nonprofit. And if you look at all the regional theaters in the U.S., that's really kind of our national theater. And that's where we develop and create new works, new ideas, relevant issues, entertaining as well. But theater creates a more educated and more harmonious society.
Now, when you say regional, as opposed to what, the city of Long Beach, or
as opposed to
what
a
does the region
community
cover?
theater,
Okay.
yeah. Well, because we draw from L.A. to Orange County, you know. And
Both in terms of actors and in audience, I would imagine.
absolutely.
Right.
It would be difficult for Long Beach alone to support a major regional theater.
Right.
And but I think Long Beach is also lucky to have a regional theater in their community, because our presence also, you know, is our mission is to serve and to bring our community together. And we provide 6 education programs for our community because we're here.
Now, when you say serve, I guess one would think of the theater in many ways, but service maybe not so much. Give us some examples of that.
Serve in a way that makes, when you bring people together and they can hear a story about someone who's different, maybe, and that creates empathy by that story, that creates understanding. And that's what I mean about serving to a greater good, to educate. Our last show was about early 1900s women that were pioneers in astronomy that made huge contributions, but no one knows their names. So Silent Sky shared something about those 3 women. And it was very inspiring.
Now, Stevie, you're involved as well with the theater, and what's your role?
I am one of the co-chairs for the Community Partnership Committee, which is a committee that is comprised of a dozen or more people who are involved in all walks of community life, and we come together to support the theater for usually one project a year, but it's kind of an ongoing thing. We come together to support a show. There's one show usually that we support, and we come together and we sort of put our minds together and help get the word out about what's going on with the show. And then we have a few programs and ways that the community can get involved. So
Now, I know that we have a photo of that committee as well that we'll share. So first of all, I guess if I'm in the community and I want to be a part of such a committee, how would I go about that? And then what are some of the responsibilities in addition to what you just shared?
Well, I'm going to invite you to be a part of that right now. So usually the people that are on the committee are always trying to bring in new people as well. We'd love for the committee to grow, and we'd love for people in all walks of life in the community to come and be a part of us. What we usually do is we help in usually 3 ways. The play usually has a gala. And so we encourage people to come to that. Would be opening night and opening night gala.
October 20th.
And we have dinner, and we get to network a little bit, and then see the show. But beyond that, we ask for people to be honorary producers of the show. And with that come a lot of perks, names in the programs, things like the tickets to the show.
And the gala.
Right. And so we have a lot of, we always ask that we find an honorary producer for the show, which is a chance for, I always think of it as an opportunity for somebody that always kind of wanted to be in show business, entertainment, to sort of have that little 15 minutes of fame as a part of something that's a little bit bigger than themselves, I always say. And then we offer a program that I really love, which is Students to the Stage. And that's when we bring high school students, most of which have never seen a live production before, to the theater to actually see the play. And we ask businesses, friends, relatives to sponsor these students to come to the stage. And that is really a very rewarding part of this.
I can share a couple comments that the students have written on their surveys after they've been to the theater for Students to Stage, and two especially that recently. One wrote, "I've never been to the theater. This is better than the movies." And another one said, "This was so inspiring. I hope I can see more plays."
Right.
So,
I often say as a leader, it's funny you say that because my greatest fear is I don't know what I don't know. And when you think about the arts and you think about theater, as you say, I mean, maybe youth are used to looking at TV or going to the movies, but theater is just a totally different way to immerse yourself in whatever the topic is.
Escape life for a moment and just take a journey with that shared audience.
Yeah.
'Cause
one quote I read, it says, "Theater matters. It is where people have gone for centuries to hear the truth." And that was
David Mamet.
Yeah, when you hear that, how does that resonate with you?
It reinforces the importance of freedom of speech, and theater is a vital platform for freedom of speech for ideas and views to be expressed. And our job is to keep investing in those playwrights and producing their work, because if you're not, they won't be doing it. And that's where subscribers come in. To supporting a whole season of plays, which allows you flexibility and a base of support for those new ideas and new voices. Because if you had to try to sell a show individually, and you never heard of the writer, you never heard of the play, it would be so difficult. It would be the continual dumbing down in our nation in the theater, because you would be looking at commercial projects that people have heard of because you couldn't exist otherwise. That's why subscribers are gold in the theater. Right. And I did want to mention, I'm so blessed with people like this that serve on the community partnership, because the community partnership has three goals: to bring our community together, and we have one of the most diverse communities, and that's so important, and to raise money for college scholarships, for continuing education for youth, and to bring, like through Students to Stage that Stevie was talking about, bring students to the theater so they can experience it. And we do a talk back so they can ask the actors questions. And I'm telling you, when they come in with their phones and their gadgets, and you think, oh my God, are they going to get anything from this? And then, they're, put it away, take a break, turn it off, and then they ask such wonderful questions of the actors or have comments.
They do.
It's inspiring.
Now, in the green room, you mentioned the talk back, and you were saying that this is an opportunity where it sounds like after the play may be over, that the artist is just sitting there on stage, and there's that dialogue back and forth. So that's an immediate gratification, I would imagine, for the youth to be able to ask that question that might be lingering in their head, or why did you say this, do this, or present it that way? Is that, in fact, how it all happens?
Yes, or also, how did you get started in the business, or practical advice too. So play related.
And sometimes they ask questions about things they maybe didn't understand in the play.
Right.
They'll say, I don't know why you did that. I don't know, why did you, they're not completely aware of the entire process. Like, I did that because the writer said do that. But they do have questions about the internal workings of the play as well, which is like you kind of get it that they were paying attention.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so you started out talking about just how many professional awards, and one of them was a workplace award.
Diversity Award.
What is that, and how does that impact?
Because the kind of work we do encourages artists of color and
Right.
inclusiveness.
Right.
So
And it's not just on stage. I would imagine it's in the writing and producing.
the writers,
et cetera, right?
yes,
Yeah.
the crew, the staff, yes.
Right. And then when you talk about the development of live theater and its impact, do you feel like in Long Beach that we're on the right path for that in terms of live theater and its impact locally?
Yes, but I also think that it's important that we continue to reach out to the community and make them aware, because I have to say 32 years and I still hear people say, oh, I didn't know you were here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do we have to do to get the word out? And thank you for allowing us this opportunity to help
Absolutely.
get the word out.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. I mean, I know that now you have most of your performances at the Beverly O'Neill Theater. Is
That's
that correct?
All our performances are there.
So
Yes.
that must be quite an opportunity as well.
Well, we've been in there since 1996
Okay.
in the O'Neill. Well,
So-
it wasn't the O'Neill; it was the Center Theater.
Right,
And when
now.
we were when we first went in there and we were asked to take that space, no one had been successful in there, and we found the key to make it successful. Now everybody wants to use it.
Of course.
So what we're going to do is take a quick break, but when we come back, I want you to talk more about what that key is. So when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Karen Desai and Stevie Meredith. Stay tuned for more of Long Beach Lens.
Life is a series of unfortunate events. Your boss throws a coffee cup at you, your partner breaks up with you, your car gets damaged by a pothole, your landlord ambushes you, your credit card maxes out, your car insurance expires, your stomach is rumbling because of all the food in the fridge has gone stale. It takes a lifetime to figure out your life, but it only takes one day to figure out how to use a DSLR. Take a break from the unfortunate events.
Welcome back to Long Beach Lens. I'm Derek J. Simpson, and I'm here with Karen Desai and Stevie Meredith from the International City Theater, and we were talking before the break about you in the Beverly O'Neill Theater and how you've been there since the 90s, it sounds like, and you actually found the key to making it a successful venue for you, and I was curious as to what that key is that you found.
Part of the key was also working with the unions. You know, it's a much larger theater than we use, right? And they allowed us to curtain it off and make it much more intimate. And the more seats you have, the more you have to pay.
Okay.
The actors, the directors, the designers, the playwright, everyone. So
Okay.
until you can build the audience, you can't, and we have moved the curtains, but
Right.
it's taken a lot longer than we anticipated to get rid of the
Okay.
curtains.
Okay.
So
I love that theater. I've been to several events there, and I like the sense of intimacy. Yet it's large enough that you can have a very nice production there. It seems so. That's one of my favorite venues in the city.
thank you.
And of course, Beverly O'Neill is one of my favorite people in the universe.
well,
So the
everyone's,
fact that they
right?
put her name on there
Yes.
makes it even more inviting. Now, you talked about the 6 educational outreach programs that you have
Yes.
when we started out. And I know there's more depth to that. Can you share what those are in case people are interested?
Sure. We have a free Saturday program, and this year has been supported by the Port of Long Beach. We're very grateful. That's geared more to elementary and middle school children,
Okay.
and it's a free performance. It's for families. We just did one September 9th, and there was like 500 signups for that.
Oh, wow.
So it's to introduce them to live professional theater.
Right.
Then we have the Students to Stage, where we bring high school, sometimes middle school, depends on the material, age appropriateness for the main stage shows. Then internships, that's been our longest running program because we started on the campus of City College. Hashim Desai, when he was chair of the department, started International City Theater. And I taught college for 20 years too. So education's very important to the roots of ICT. We have a program for the summer, the Youth Conservatory, where we train students for 4 weeks, and there's no auditions. We train anyone. They write the play.
Oh, cool.
It's a great program. And the senior program for low-income seniors, where we provide tickets and transportation to get them out of their 4 walls, to keep them socially and mentally engaged.
Right.
And research shows that, of course, it adds to their quality of life, but it adds to their longevity. So
Yeah.
I think, if you want to live longer, go to the theater.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of seniors, how do you reach out to them? Is it through other nonprofits that serve them, or do you have a set network that you use to reach out?
It's their housing projects.
Okay,
That's how we identify them,
okay.
yes.
But if an agency like us wanted to help you in that outreach, are you open to that or no?
We can talk
Long Beach
about
County?
that, absolutely.
Okay, great, great. Now, I know that there is a very special event coming up, and the title is Home.
Yes.
And there's a lot wrapped around that, and Meredith, that's part of what your committee was
Yes.
involved with, and that's what you started out with. So I'm going to start with, and we have the flyer up there that's advertising it. So Karen, why don't you talk to us first about what it is, and Meredith, will let you chime in as well.
All right.
So,
And feel free to chime in, because I
Yeah.
know she's been reading up on the play too. But I know the play very well. It's a story of a man's journey finding home. He starts out in rural South Carolina,
Right.
and it's a black man's journey. And it starts in the 50s, and the arc of the play and the time period, the 70s and the Vietnam War, and he's a conscientious objector, and he doesn't want to fight. So he goes to prison, he loses the family farm, comes out and goes to New York and is disillusioned, and then it's his journey back home. And that time period's also interesting because it was that whole civil rights and the change, and so to come home and find a different world now too.
and that's coming up October.
October 20th is opening night for the
Okay.
gala, and we run through November 5th,
Okay.
so
And
3 weeks.
for 3 weeks, and is it a certain nights of the week? Or?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8, and Sundays at 2.
Okay. And now, Meredith, refresh our memory again on how exactly your committee was involved in this and what you would like to see as a result of Home.
Well, we'd love to see the community support the bringing of 250 students to that closing performance so that they can see the show, participate in the talkback. I like Home because I don't know how old I was when I first heard the phrase, you can never go home again, or I don't know why people say that. Home is where you should always be able to go again. And
Right.
so looking at this Cephas's journey, I think it can remind people who sit in the audience of maybe what their journey is.
Right.
I expect that when the curtain goes down, there would be people sitting there who would be pondering if they could go home again. I know sometimes we lose our way, which like Cephas, but I don't think it's impossible to
find home again.
find that bridge.
And also, I'll tell you what's fun about it. He tells his story, but there are two women in the play that play all the characters in his life.
Oh, wow.
And that's really fun. And the New York Times called it one of the happiest theatrical events of the season.
And the
So
play was
it's
first
fun.
done by the Negro Ensemble Company
Yes.
in New York
Okay.
a long time ago.
How long has this play been going? I mean, I know, is this your first year bringing it to Long Beach?
No, I have to tell you the truth. I directed this show 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
Sam Art Williams, who's a phenomenal writer and actor himself and producer,
Yeah.
came during our rehearsal. And I hope I can get him to come in for this one, too.
Okay. So you have a personal...
Yeah, I had so much fun developing this
Right.
play.
Right. And now for your committee, now each year when you talk about diversity, is there a play like this that the theater brings to the community?
You
that
know,
kind of
it's
focuses?
interesting because I've been on the committee through probably 5 plays, maybe 6, I don't
'Cause
remember.
our first one was 2002, so this is like 15 years we've
Yeah,
been doing
so
this.
I'm fairly new. I don't count myself as new anymore. But
It's been a while.
I started, the first show that I did with the committee was Ain't Misbehavin'. And so usually we had worked on, this is kind of funny about our committee, we work on the show that is more germane to the African American community in Long Beach. However, after, was it after Fences? No, Fences was last
It was
year.
after Fences. No, Fences was
Fences.
2015.
Okay, so
Last year we
after
did Doubt.
Fences, Karen says to the committee, "Oh, she says, we don't have a show that's particularly germane to African Americans in my next season." Well, I thought, what a crazy committee we are, because we go, that's okay. What do you need us to do? We'll just
And
do
I have
it."
to, yes, and I have to tell you that really touched my heart because I have a group of people that are very educated,
Right.
very committed to this community and our youth,
Right.
and trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
And so when they said that to me, that really touched my heart.
So
And they're
last
just
year we
like
did
fabulous.
Doubt,
Yes.
which was kind of fun. And I think also because the community, a lot of educators or former educators, retired educators, lots of, people that really don't have to do this,
Right.
but they do and they have a passion for it. So it's really, I don't like to get up early. I'm just going to admit that on camera. I don't. And we have our meetings at like 9:15.
That's not
But we're
early.
all excited. That's early to me, Karen. I'm a night owl. I'm excited to go to my meeting. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, I said, oh gosh, girl, I have to go to bed because I have to get up and go to my meeting tomorrow. She goes, I have to tell you, you are really committed to this committee.
Well, I got to imagine as being an executive director, though, when you have volunteers that have that passion and that sense of commitment,
Yes.
certainly helps with your job being a lot easier and your guidance as to how you make things happen.
Well, I think we all want to live purposeful lives and make a difference.
Yes.
Right? And when you can find it's the same people that are involved in many things in this community,
Right.
trying to do good.
True.
Right.
So yes, I am blessed to have them involved.
So speaking of involvement, we have less than maybe 4 minutes now. How can, let's say, an agency that's a nonprofit like Long Beach Community Action Partnership or PatNet TV be more supportive in helping you to achieve the missions of the International City Theater?
Well, I guess the more we can help, you're doing it right now by helping us get the
Absolutely.
word out, and that reaches further than or maybe some new audience members even from this, we hope.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we can talk more about how we can partner and do some more things.
Well, that's important. I mean, we serve low income here, And I would hate to think that the socioeconomic barriers would prevent one from being able to appreciate the art, such as what you're bringing to Long Beach. And I know you're doing it with ICT, or International City Theater, in a very unique way. So I really applaud you for how you're going about making that happen. And I certainly applaud you for how you're not only creating such a committee to give you that diverse perspective, but you're also allowing them to give you very valued input. We have 1 minute left. Any closing thought you want to leave our viewers with?
I think we want to mention also about the scholarships.
The scholarships.
That we're trying to...
ICT and our committee offer scholarships to youth that are trying to further their education.
They can always go to our website, or they can,
Right.
Great. Well, thank you, ladies. We're out of time, but not out of questions. I'd like to thank Karen Desai and Stevie Meredith from the International City Theater for joining us on today's show. Be sure to follow PadNet TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest updates. We also welcome your comments and thoughts regarding the show as we strive to make Long Beach Lands a favorite source of local news, information, and entertainment. This show has been brought to you with support from the Long Beach Community Action Partnership, helping people, changing lives. Thank you for watching Long Beach Lands.